Teddy, what'd you think of the Tommy Fury fight early on, first fight of the night?
Full disclosure, as always, I only saw the last 40 seconds. I tuned it in, and I saw the last 40 seconds of the fourth round, and I think I saw enough. I think, first of all, to your point of the opponent slipping to his right, that is the side you don't want to stay on when you're fighting an orthodox fighter, because if you slip to your right and you stay on your right, you're in the lane of the right hand. You want to finish on the left side where you're outside the right hand, So that just needs to be said since you brought that up. But look, we're not here to make fun of people, but we're here to administer the truth. And, I don't think I had to see more than 40 seconds. He's very crude. He's obviously hasn't had much experience, but he's just not polished. He's the nicest thing I could say is, he's a good-looking guy, and he
Very
might
handsome.
be better. He might be better off. In some ways, again, it's how can it not come off as a knock? And I don't mean it to, but the truth is the truth. He might be better off modeling those gloves with those trunks than he is fighting in them, to a certain extent. But having saw 40 seconds, if there was stock for sale in your world, so to speak, Ken, I'm not buying. Again, if it comes off, I'm talking about him being crude. I don't want to come off crude or cruel. But again, we're here to tell the truth to the audience. And does that mean that he can't improve? No. He's obviously a work in progress. But, how much time do you have to improve, and to what level can you get to? I can't perceive him getting to any kind of really consequential level. I within a time frame that is obviously a common sense time frame that we're talking about. We're not talking about we're not talking about 2030. We're talking about in recent amount of time, or in a decent amount of future time. I just don't see, and I don't know if I could see selling that fight, to be honest with you, with Paul at this point.
Tommy Fury at this point is only fighting 4-rounders. Jake Paul is in there. I mean, at least he went 8 rounds with the former UFC champ. We'll get into that in a minute. But my takeaway from that fight, when I was sitting there with the guys who we were watching together, I thought, if this kid who Tommy Fury is fighting, I can't remember his name, if this kid is Jake Paul's main sparring partner, I want 10,000 on Woodley, because I thought that kid, and again, like you, I don't try to knock anyone. Look, I'm not getting in the ring, but I thought that for a guy whose job is a boxer, he did not have any technique at all. And all I could think was, if that's the only guy Jake Paul's working with clearly it can't be, because Paul looked much better, but that kid did not look polished. He did not look good.
Well, I mean, again, you didn't have to spend a lot of time watching it. I saw the last 40 seconds or so, and you could see that he's he's not going to be mistaken for a contender.
No.
Let's put it that way.
I think the one big loser in that fight, and not to use loser in a derogatory term, but financially, I thought it was Tommy Fury. I thought Tommy Fury was putting himself in a position to be the next opponent, get a massive payday. I just can't see him the way he looked in 4 rounds. He survived 4 rounds. He could barely keep his hands up at the end.
How are you going to sell? You have a kid in Paul, who's committed to trying to learn the sport, but he's just starting, right? 3 years, whatever. He's just starting. And at least when he's fighting these UFC guys, there's legitimacy. He's fighting a legitimate guy that has stature. But Fury's another beginner. And he looked like a beginner.
He struggled to get through 4 rounds.
And he looked like a beginner. So how are you going to sell a beginner who's definitely his stock is growing, Paul's stock. There's no doubt about that. But he's still a beginner. How are you going to sell a beginner with another beginner who's not even as developed as the first beginner. So
Exactly.
it's going to be kind of hard to